So,
but then you can bring them to your local person who does Botox.
Every provider takes them.
Really?
Every provider takes them because it's like it's the discount is on the like medicine. It's
so you can take it to your person.
Yes, you don't have to like go to some like sketchy one that you've never been inside, and it's like, is this a 7-Eleven or
right?
You know,
Right.
No, it's like genius. I'm like, I need to tell George Santos about this.
What's up, everybody? It's our special guest show with our favorite Meredith Lynch in studio. Oh my God, we were talking so much before the mics heated up that we had to like.
We're so professional.
Yeah, we had
The
to
way we
like,
talk.
let's wait and put it on air.
Yeah.
Meredith, thank you for coming in.
Oh my God, thank you guys for having me.
You're very big on social media.
I don't know about that. I did get a comment. I think it was Friday that was like, wow, your face is really heading downhill. And I was like, to be honest with you, I just got 4 syringes of filler. I'm feeling pretty fucking good.
I was just saying, too.
I think you're looking amazing.
I had a friend that just texted me and was like, Lynn, you got to fix yourself. You're on camera. You look so schlubby. And I was like, oh, thanks.
I think you look great. I think she looks
Stephanie
amazing.
and I, we come rolling in on, Monday morning.
I didn't get an appearance thing lately, but somebody did, although, I mean, I have, believe me, but somebody over on Bad TV's Facebook group, for no reason, they were somebody flagged me. Did you see this, Kaylin?
No.
Somebody said, apropos of nothing, because they were talking about the Mother God cult.
Yes,
sure.
And then somebody wrote, Stephanie can go kick rocks.
What?
I was like, how did I get hurt? Like, what? I thought we were talking about a documentary. Like,
what?
Also, it's just so 5th grade, too. Go kick rocks.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, so you don't like me. I have no idea why. Like,
That's weird.
It is weird. I know. I just feel like, I think like, we all have these moments during the day where we like can't say shit, right?
Yeah.
Like where you want to be like, what the fuck?
Right.
But you can't.
Right.
So I think sometimes people take it out like I remember when I first started doing TikTok and stuff, like very beginning, I wasn't used to like the negative comments.
Yeah.
So this girl left me a comment and she was like, do you have Botox? And I was like, fuck yeah. Right? Like, are you kidding me? So I was like, yeah, I have Botox. Like, let me know if you have questions. Like, I was so innocent. And she was like, okay, this makes sense because your face is looking very puffy and it's clear that it's been overdone. And I was like, oh my God. So she had her like full government name on there. And like, I like found her Facebook, which like had her contact email on it, like public. And I like emailed her and I was like, hey, I just want to let you know, like that comment actually really hurt my feelings. Like it really hurt. And she wrote me back and she was like, I have to be honest with you. Like, I actually don't think your face looks puffy at all. I had just had like a really bad day with like my own body and I saw you and something just triggered me. So she was like, I just said it to say it.
You see how these fucking trolls are? That's why you can't read it.
I know,
you
you really can't.
You just got to ignore it.
You can't. And
Yeah,
so then
Stephanie.
after that, I was like, I'm like gay. Well, once
Right.
in a while. But like for the most part, I was like, oh, this is your shit. But
Yeah.
it's the same thing that you have to like teach your kids in middle school.
I know. It's
right?
true.
Like
It's
your
true.
kids are all over this shit now, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, they're all over especially my daughter, on social media. But yeah, you just gotta teach them, just ignore.
Yeah.
Well, Xander the other day found an Instagram post that I had made that had nothing to do with anything, where somebody went off on me, like my parenting, specifically my parenting him, in the comment of like an old post. And like he found it and it was like like, why would you call out my child?
It's ridiculous.
And of course, I didn't see it because I'm not expecting that. I'm not like policing.
Right. It's like an
posts.
old
Right.
post,
And the post had nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
Right.
It was like a meme about like white men's voices on like social media. And then Xander had to bring it to me and I was like, oh my God, I'm so like delete. You know, but I was like, what is wrong with people?
People are,
These are kids.
Yeah. Well, especially our kids, we've had to teach them at a very young age. Like, you just got to like, the truth. You know who your family is. You know that there's bad people out there. There's trolls out there. I tried to block them from Reddit for so long, but they're almost 18. Like they're gonna, but they know the truth. They know who their parents are. So
I'm just lucky. I don't think my kids are interested enough in my life.
I don't think my kids are. I don't think my kids are interested that much either. But
right.
My daughter was just telling me that she was at a party and she has a beef with this one boy.
Yeah,
because of a friend that he broke up a relation. I don't know, whatever.
I love that Natalia's fighting with guys. Like that's the way to go. Don't fight with the other girls.
Natalia's fighting, but she's got a beef with this boy.
I love it.
And he's yelling at her at a party, and he's like, "Your parents don't give a shit about you. Your parents don't care about you." And she was like, "Don't." She's like full on Will Smith. Like, you keep my parents' name out your mouth. Like, she just went off on this kid. Yeah.
And like,
hilarious.
Honestly, that's the thing though. Like, I can't think, like, both of you are people who I think your entire lives are for your children. Mm-hmm. And I think that's very apparent, right?
Sadly, yes.
I'm like, no, but I mean, like, and so I think it's like when kids are confronted with something that they know is not the truth. And to be honest with you, that kid probably knows that's not true. And there's probably a level of jealousy.
Right.
Everything that you have done, everything with this podcast, everything with other stuff, it's all been for them. So they can go to fucking college, so they can, I don't know, only have to work part-time at the laser tag place. Like, it's all for them.
Yeah.
You can't win though with people online, because you're never going to win, because the same people, if I ever see stuff on Reddit about me, it's either this people complain like, they're too into their kids. Yeah. Like, they do everything for their kids. They're like, God, like, you're so codependent with your kids, and like, you do everything for them. But then other people will be like, they're the worst parents. They're never there for their kids. Like, they don't even want to go do stuff with their kids. Like, they're always talking about how they're glad when their kids leave them alone. It's like, well, which is it?
Right.
Which are you hating me for? Which makes you think that I'm a horrible person that needs to be called out on that needs to be trolled?
Yeah.
Which thing?
Depends on the day, Stephanie, and how their day is with their kids.
Right.
So let's talk Squid Games.
Yeah, let's talk about Squid Games. Yeah. Would you go on Squid Games with your kid?
Oh,
with any of your kids?
See, yes. I was rooting for that. Me too. The mother-son team. I loved it. I was picturing me and Sunny.
There's not going to be too many spoilers. I'm just going to say, if you haven't watched it yet, let's not say who gets eliminated, because I don't even want to know, because I'm not done.
No, we don't have to talk about who gets eliminated. Okay. But I was rooting for the mother-son team, because I was picturing me and Sunny doing it together someday.
Yeah,
I thought it would be fun, but they are very competitive with each other, which is crazy. She used to play basketball.
Yeah, she's got an edge in like the best possible way.
In a good way. Yes. In a healthy way. She's got a healthy competitive streak to her, and we have a fan of our shows whose son is on the show.
Get out.
Yeah. He's number 149, and his name is Justin. And thus far that I've gotten to, he's had like no screen time at all.
Well,
like
that's
not
the thing.
One interview. And I'm like, how is it possible that they went from because where I am now, they're down to 30. From 456.
Okay, you and I are like in the same place.
Okay, I think I have 2 more episodes left.
I'm caught up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so you're done, right? It's done?
Well, no, the final episode is
it hasn't aired yet? Okay. So, but I have been watching for this person that we know, our friend Catherine's son. I mean, it's a longtime listener of our show. Her son is literally there, and I know he's still there, but I'm like, how do you get to that many people and he's never had any camera time?
Yeah.
Probably because he's too normal.
Yeah. I think what happens is there's people that are getting, further in the game. So then they sit down and interview them. And then next thing you know, they can get eliminated. And so now they're focusing on the other person that they were up against. That's how it's going.
Right.
But it started out with fucking 400 people. It's crazy. Are you enjoying it?
I am kind of enjoying it, but here's the messed up. Did you watch the original Netflix show?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't watch it.
I watched half of it. I got through half, 4 episodes or something.
I know. And my friend was like, how are you understanding anything if you've never seen it? I was like, I don't know. I mean, I'm just rolling with it. But I didn't know of what the cookie challenge meant. I was like, this is disgusting. They're
spitting. I know. I couldn't watch it.
But I am kind of enjoying it. But don't you feel like it's not to in this day when the like thing blows up in the chest. I'm not giving anything away. And then they like have to fall to the ground. I'm like, this is like too much. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
This is a little too real.
Right.
For 2023.
In Squid Games, it's basically the exact same thing, only everybody dies.
They do get shot.
So they get shot and they die.
But they're actors, and like this like feels a little too real, like in a weird way.
Oh, see, I find it silly
It's funny.
because they have to like
I know, they pretend to die.
They have to lay down and like it's like that they're like, really?
Right.
I'm do I have to really pretend to have a death scene?
I jump when the things go off.
Yeah.
But I am kind of addicted to it, and
I'm fascinated. Are you watching it, Caitlin?
I told you I just watched that first episode. And I did watch the show, and I thought something was going on, like how they got eliminated in that first game. It seemed very arbitrary to me, like who they were setting the things off for. Like when exactly are they starting and stopping? There's too many people here to be really monitoring, like who's really... So I haven't really watched anything past that.
That first game was a little suspect, But then the other games...
yeah. They're going to keep the people that they want. Like, they're going to keep... It's like American Idol. Like, all of a sudden, you're like, why does everyone in the top 12 have trauma? And, like, I knew a girl who did American Idol, and she made it to, like, I don't know, top 100 or whatever. And so they were like, all right, like, would you talk about... She had, like, a family situation that was, like, really tough. And they were like, would you talk about that on camera? And she was like, no, I'm not talking about that on camera. And she's like, and then sure enough...
She gets...
Like, I don't get through the next round, right? You know? So they want people that they can sell a story on. So like 432, who was like the Clemson football player, which by the way, my husband looked him up and he's like, yeah, I don't think he actually ever played in a game because he was injured like when they started. So he's like, I'm a football player, I'm D1, I'm this. And like now I've got this one doing the research for me. Like,
I love that.
Did he?
There's this one scene, and I'm not going to give anything away, but it's in the marble game.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so basically 2 people get eliminated, and I was like, this is so suspect because this wouldn't actually happen. And it was one of those moments where I'm like, oh, this is what they did. They had 2 players that were already eliminated. Because there's so many that they can't follow all of them.
Right.
So they took 2 people who got eliminated, and then they put them together, and they were like, here's the scene. You guys can't decide like who's going to do what, so you're both going to get eliminated. Because it was so acty. Like I was like,
and it's so drawn out.
If this was real and you were real and there was $4 million on the line, there's no way that you wouldn't be swearing at each other. Like you wouldn't be like, well, I can't decide.
Right,
And I was like, you should have found some people that had better acting chops for that.
Right.
Because, you know, it's kind of fun to be able to figure that stuff out.
And like, honestly, what else am I going to fucking watch?
I know, right? I know. And I had to go look at the old Squid Game just so I could see like some of the challenges because I was
they're
like,
hard to understand.
Yeah. I was like, wait, what? But anyway, I just, it's very, and now they're getting sued or something. What are they getting sued for?
Oh, they are?
Oh, yeah, because somebody claimed that they got like hypothermia because something was really cold. And
I didn't see anything being very cold. Them being in have you guys watched Special Ops? On Fox?
No, but I watched like enough of the clips that I feel like I've watched.
I watched that shit. I loved it.
Really?
And I don't watch Vanderpump Rules.
Yeah.
So I was like, this guy's a babe, and Sandoval. Like he's a babe, but he's so dumb. He's the dumbest fucking, which makes him even more cuter at some point. I don't know. And then there's the Nick, Bachelor Nick, who I've never really watched before. And I was like, I started liking him. And yeah, it's really good.
He has a podcast that's pretty good.
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah. He got interrogated and they were like taking it seriously. Like, what do you do for a living? And he's like, I have a podcast. And he like started laughing.
And JoJo's on it. JoJo Siwa.
Yeah.
Right?
JoJo Siwa.
Yeah.
She's a queen.
She's killer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who is the woman? Is it Kelly Rizzo who was married to Bob Saget?
Oh, it was that who she is?
Yeah, with the blonde hair.
Oh, I didn't know that's her. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I had no idea who a lot of those people were.
Like she was married to him when he died?
He passed away. Yeah.
I didn't
Is she
know
like an
that.
actress?
She's like a food blogger. She's very cool.
Right.
Yeah. You guys should have her on.
Do we think that that was suspicious, right?
It was a little strange, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, but
when he died in his hotel room.
Yeah.
And then they wouldn't, they stopped commenting about it. Like they wouldn't, like we never really found out how he died.
Right.
He hit his head, right?
Yeah.
I know
he hit his
someone
head.
else who died very suddenly after hitting their head the day before. And then like years later, people were like, wait a minute, maybe it was the car accident he got in the day before that he was like, I'm fine.
Oh yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, no, Dr. Drew's talked about head injuries can be very serious.
Yeah.
And you think you're okay.
Right.
And the next thing you just hit it in a certain spot, and the next thing you know you're gone. Yeah.
I don't know. I think foul play. Anyway, what else is
Golden Bachelor?
Oh, talk about foul play.
Oh my God. Okay. So, know, I do a Patreon for my Rose Pricks. Our Patreon was all about Golden Bachelor, but that was behind a paywall. I'm up for, I know everything.
Okay. You going to bring it?
I mean, like,
What?
I've seen
I
every
watched
episode.
it. Why? Is it rigged? What do you mean?
No, didn't you read the
No, I
stuff
haven't
about him?
No, I haven't. I don't know anything about him. He looks like a nice guy to me with hearing aids.
Fool's Golden Bachelor.
Really? Wait, what?
I mean, listen, and I've listened to both sides. Some people that are like, okay, but like he's still like, it's still okay. The tea about him,
We got to give you the
the tea about him is that how he pretended. Well, I don't know if he made it seem as if he's never had another relationship since his wife, right?
Yeah,
like
Tony.
maybe he implied that he dated a little bit, like because when he was with not Kathy. Kathy was when he was with Faith, they had a little quick conversation about how, the apps, you must have seen some crazy stuff. Like, and he was like, yeah. Well, apparently when his wife died, he had a girlfriend. Like he started dating somebody a month after his wife died. A month.
Yeah.
And they dated for like 10 months. Then they lived together for like a year and a half. And the story that she tells, which is not necessarily, it's from her point of view.
Sure.
But she says that he was very, very stingy with money. Like they had to split all the bills. And that when they went to a restaurant, he made her pay in advance, Venmo him money, and then he would pay for the meal.
So he could look like he was footing the bill.
Wow.
Also,
she's out in the press saying this stuff?
Yeah, and Hollywood Reporter covered it. And
Yeah.
they,
Oh my God,
they
I
was
get my
kind of
head in this-
verified. They had a lot of stuff to back it up. It wasn't like, I don't know.
they had text messages.
Yes.
They had
Well, Hollywood Reporter wouldn't report it if they didn't think it was valid.
right?
Yeah.
Let's take a quick break.
Yeah.
Then we have more. Okay, we're back. Yes. So also, the way they broke up apparently was just very acrimonious. And apparently they were supposed to be going to his high school reunion. And
His high school reunion?
Like whatever.
That's pretty serious, right? I wouldn't bring my own husband to that.
50, 60 year high school, maybe
Yeah.
60 year, right?
50, yeah.
And he told her he basically told her that he didn't want to bring her because she'd gained 10 pounds and he felt embarrassed. That's according to her.
Yep.
But then I think bigger than the other things to me is the fact that he's billed as a restaurateur. Like,
Is that what he does? I didn't even know what he did.
Well,
he's supposed to be a retired restaurateur.
Okay.
so wealthy, right, that he doesn't need to work anymore.
Right.
Okay.
But
In actuality, he's not a restaurateur. He owned briefly many years ago. Okay. So he had a franchise of a burger place that he had worked at when he was like in high school, and he worked his way up and he eventually bought the franchise, like one burger restaurant, sold it in 1984. That's the year I graduated high school. That was a long ass time ago.
Yeah.
Because I'm old.
Yeah.
He sold that in 1984. After that, he was working as like a sales guy. He was in like meat
sales, and then he was installing hot tubs.
Then he was installing hot tubs. Then he was a maintenance worker at a mental health facility. And then he met.
That's how he met the woman who ends up being the girlfriend for the brief period of time.
I see.
So when his wife died, he was a maintenance man
Okay.
at the mental health facility.
Okay.
And started liking the like receptionist.
So here's my take on it.
Okay.
I feel like he probably went in and was honest and said, hey, this is what I do for a living, or this is what I recently retired from. And they were like, yeah, that's not sexy enough.
Right.
So what else have you done? And he was like, well, when I was 35, I owned, burger joint that I'd worked at since high school. And they're like, okay, cool. Retired restaurateur. Because when you watch all these things, like they want to give them the cool name. They want to build them as the cool thing. So I actually put that one on production a little bit.
Okay. Right.
But I would think that they would be like, obviously we're going to get this. We're going. Yes, we're going to. I agree with you, Meredith. But I also think that they would think, well, eventually he's going to get found out. People are going to dig into his past.
I honestly think that these places don't think we're that smart, that people
Really?
aren't going to poke around. Yes.
Yeah.
Like I really
they just don't care, or they don't care. Yeah.
I really think they don't care.
Right.
I think that it's starting to come out, but I bet somebody else had already, I bet that like people dig on TikTok, people share these things.
Right.
And so I bet they think, oh, at that point, he'll be such a big star. He'll be so beloved. And I think it's the combo of the two things too, right? Like if you just found that one thing out, well, now you kind of have sympathy. Like, oh, he's not the cool restaurateur. Although I'm like, oh, he could fix your toilet. That's actually
exactly.
like
That's
so much
cool.
more valuable.
But it's concerning that he was not that into Teresa until he found out she was like a commodities trader or whatever.
Right.
Of course.
And then he was like, oh. His eyes lit up like Christmas morning.
Yeah.
He was like, whoa. And then she's like, but I mean, Gary, I will quit my job. And you can see that he was like, oh, hell no, you're not going anywhere.
No wonder he's moving to South Carolina to be with her. He's like, we're going to get married as soon as possible. He's like, and then we're going to change the life insurance.
He wants to lock that down. And then he's getting a free honeymoon.
Right.
Wow. I did not know any of this. I just looked at him as just like this nice, sweet guy in his later years. I didn't know he was stingy and cheap. So when I was a little bit like, I did notice that his ears perked up when she told him what she does.
Right.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, and he didn't tell her he loved her, but then he did. Then he was all in with her.
Right.
I thought he was going to go for Faith, the third one out. But, that's insane. That's crazy. I did not know that. Wow.
Get your bag, Gary. Right? Yeah. I will say this. I remember when the show first started, they kept billing him as a single dad. I was like, he's not a fucking single dad. His kids are like in their 50s.
Okay? He's got grandchildren.
Right? Like his wife died. Like, and I don't mean that, but like as someone who like, my mom passed away when I was young. So like my dad was a single dad.
Right.
Like you're not like figuring out like who to take to ballet.
Right.
You're not a single dad.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
all the way off.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I know.
And I will say like, because I have so many friends that I've like, because I collect them, I'm drawn to people who also have my trauma. I love other kids with dead moms. When you talk to them, oftentimes you find out like dad moved on immediately. Like I've talked to girls who are like, my dad was flirting at the wake. My dad had a girlfriend 4 weeks later. Like straight men don't do well alone. So they like, I am not shocked. And when he was like, oh, I haven't really had any relationships, I was like, bullshit.
Yeah.
It's bullshit.
Yeah, you're right about that.
Did your dad move on fast?
My dad started like he went on a date like a year and a half after my mom died.
Oh, that's not fast at all.
It's not that fast, but like at the time felt really fast. You know what I mean? Like at the time I was like, this is weird. Also, like, it was my dad and he wasn't going to like online date. So it was like one of my friend's moms.
Oh.
Convenient.
Right?
Yeah.
So that was like kind of weird too.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like men don't do well on, like, no offense, Dad, but like men don't do well on their own. So like I wanted him to like have someone, and now he's remarried, but he waited 10 years to get actually remarried.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So how old was he when your mom died? Do you know?
46.
Okay.
Wow, that's young.
Yeah.
So he didn't get remarried till he was 56?
Yeah.
Oh.
I know.
Okay.
And even then, like we were kind of brats about it at first.
Really?
Yeah. Just he told us on text message.
So had he been with this woman for a while?
And they were living together. And I love her. She's amazing.
Okay, good.
But like I was at the grocery store on a Sunday night and I was not, you guys, it was like dark days at Team Lynch. Okay. Like it was like I was in my like hot mess days. So like Sunday meant like I would go to the grocery store and like try to put my life back together after like a hot mess weekend, like where I'd probably overdrawn my checking account. And I'm standing in the cereal aisle and I get this text message. It's like, hey, just want to let you know I'm getting married in 2 weeks. I hope you'll be there. I was like,
wow.
Like, it was really hard to process on text message. So,
Yeah. And you as sister too.
Yeah. And so what he did was he sent a group text because he was like, I was afraid you guys would fight if I told one of you first.
I was okay.
Yeah, I don't know. If you told another one first, I really wouldn't have cared. Like, it was way worse than
three-way calling.
Cereal aisle, right? It was so bad. And so then I'm just like, I didn't know what to do either. Like, I was like, do I keep grocery shopping? Like, how do I wrap my head around this?
Right.
So I just left the grocery. I just like
So
abandoned
you
the
felt
cart.
sad, like you felt like he was betraying your mom.
I guess at the time, and now I don't feel this way, but I was just like, I don't care if you like want to be with someone forever, but like, why do you have to have like a new wife? Like, you know what I mean? Like what? Like, it just felt so strange. Like, and it was, I think it also like made me realize like, oh wow, like even though it had been 10 years, like I was like, oh, my mom's really not coming back.
Yeah.
You know what I like? I know
right,
that sounds awful, and I'm so glad that he did. And we pulled it together 2 weeks later. We had a really nice time. It was a really small, intimate thing. I loved it. But yeah, at the moment, it was just like it wasn't the way. I mean, men are fucking shit at stuff like that, right? Like they don't straight men like.
Yeah, they have a hard time.
Yeah. So now I'm really glad, and even at the time, like I knew to put it in perspective, but. I was,
Yeah. Oh.
How did your siblings feel about it?
I think they felt the same as me. And now we're so glad. Like, because, like, what if, I didn't go home for Thanksgiving? Like, if he didn't have someone, I would feel like I had to go home, right? Was your dad?
Well, see,
your mom, who passed away? Your mom passed away.
My
before your
mom
dad.
passed away, but they got divorced. My dad moved out, and he never dated again. Because he was too cheap. He was like, he couldn't afford anything.
Should have gone on the Golden Bachelor.
I know. He should have gotten Golden Bachelor. He lived in an apartment, and then he moved into a trailer, and then that was that, and he never dated. He was just, I would tell him I would hate it because he was always alone.
Right.
I hated it. I felt so guilty. But my nephews always went to visit him with their girlfriends who were now their wives. They would always go and like, their grandfather, they'd get, bring them Sunday dinner and take care of them. But for a while I had to, step in, and I hated it. And I'm like, Dad, date. And he's like, I can't afford it. I'm not dating, So he just sat at home, watched news all day and slept after he retired.
See, that's like why they need someone.
Yeah.
We could have found him a sugar mama.
Then he died. Yeah. Then that was that.
Yeah, it's hard, and it's hard when you're building your own family to like feel like you have a parent that almost has that need, right? Like you guys were like the kids were probably little, right? Like, and you're like, I fucking have to take Natalia to like her dance recital, but like I got to pick up my dad first because that's just anyway. So and I love my stepmom. She was a friend of my mom's.
Had they been dating for a while before they decided to get married?
Yes, they had been dating. They lived together. Like,
so it had been. So he only moved on to this woman. Like how long had they been together? Like 4 years.
He dated like maybe one other person, and then he got together with this woman who had been like a friend of the family, and they'd been together for like 6 years by the time they.
So he moved on like 4 years after your mom died.
Like actually having a serious relationship. Yeah.
So that's still a long time, kind of. And also, your mom was sick for a long time.
My mom was sick for 4 years. So, like, your marriage isn't even the same anymore. You know, like if you have a spouse who is terminally ill, it really changes so much, I'm sure. I mean, I can't wrap my head around it. So, I think that my dad was like, I want to get all my kids out of the house and launched. And that's what he did. After my sister moved to college, he moved in with my now stepmom. And she's amazing. Like, she and my mom were friends. She knew my mom when she was pregnant with me. Like, she went to visit me in the hospital when I was born. Like, how lucky am I to have someone like that? Like, I am so fucking lucky.
That's true. That's how you look at it. That's great. It's a good way to look at it.
My mom moved on when she got divorced from my father with friend of the family who was my father's like best friend, who also was around like when I was born. He was he had been my father's roommate, and he also lived in like our back house for a while.
That's weird.
And I thought it was really fucking weird.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And when you're a kid, I think you don't realize like what is she like, how do you meet a new person? Like I realized whoever my father's going to end up with, like I said, is probably going to be someone that I know. So it's like, you know what, Gary, I feel like we could have just, I don't know, found a nice woman. Well, why didn't you stick with the nice lady from the mental health facility? I will say, though, the Hollywood Reporter interviewed several people who worked with him at the mental health facility, and they said he was just a delight and a wonderful employee. So I was like, oh, that's nice.
Okay, so he is a nice guy.
Yes.
Yeah, so
he is a nice
the
guy.
ex-girlfriend who says that he judged her for gaining 10 pounds, like that could be her interpretation, and she could just be mad.
Right.
Yeah.
But he is cheap, though, huh?
I mean, according to her, but maybe he just didn't have money. If you're a maintenance man at a mental health facility, how much can that pay?
That's true.
Maybe he's making minimum wage and he's just like, look, I can't afford to be taking you to like nice restaurants.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't know.
Yeah.
But then have like enough of be able to like check your ego enough that you're not like, oh, and don't forget to Venmo me before we walk into the lobby. Like that's fucking bullshit, right? Like that's so embarrassing. That's so gross. Or like if you're going to live with someone, like find out a way to like split the expenses so you don't feel like that. Like that's totally fine.
Right.
Apparently they negotiated the expenses because he told her he needed her to pay $1,000 a month and she like negotiated him down to like $850.
Oh my God.
I mean, that's actually pretty cheap rent if that's what
nothing. But then they live in like Nebraska. So
Yeah,
how
that's
expensive.
Yeah, isn't that where he's from? Like some nowhere.
Well, no wonder he doesn't want to move back.
Of course,
He's like shitty weathers. He could be living it up in Charleston. He's probably going to be on Southern Charm.
Oh,
Him and Chef
hitting the town. Oh my God, that's funny. Wow.
Yeah.
And are they going to? I thought maybe they were going to announce that they were going to do a Bachelorette, Golden Bachelorette.
Who do we like? I like Leslie.
I like Leslie too.
I know
I'm
a lot of
great with
people
that.
feel like she's too much of a mess and she's, but I like her.
I think she. I
like her. I'm not
Here
going
for
to
it.
apologize.
Yeah.
She needs it.
No.
She needs to be chosen.
Yeah.
And if you got like 30 guys, one of them's going to fall for her.
Yeah.
What if they don't do Golden Bachelorette? Like, is that where the series, like, we really finally can just say the series is like hates women?
And they
Because
just
Kate
doing
Casey was like, it should have been a woman first. And she's right. It should have been a woman first.
Golden Bachelorette.
Yeah. It should have been Golden
Yeah.
Bachelorette before Golden Bachelor.
Okay, but here's the problem. And I'm going to get in trouble for saying this. I don't care. Here's the problem. Women look better for longer because because like all these women on the show had work done, right? So like the guys, they can't wear makeup. They're like, unless they're like really into like getting hair plugs and like, you're going to get a bunch of like broken down. If you get like all guys in their 70s, they're not going to hold up as
some
well.
guys though, guys do age well.
I know.
Some
guys
do, but you're
Yeah.
going to find 30 Garys. Like you're not going to find like, think about how most women who are 70 look. It's but it's easier, I think, for women to get work. Women are more going to have like facelifts and do like anti-aging things.
So you
I
think
feel
the
like it was
Golden
I
Bachelorette's
think
gonna
they
have,
were
like-
looking for women. I think they've been trying to do this show for like 4 years.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, they were like advertising it like years ago.
At the end of the episode, they put up a thing that said, "Do you have an older person in your life?" They didn't
years.
say guy or girl. They
Yeah.
just said, "Do you have an older person in your life?" Go to the ABC casting.
So I'm just wondering if it was easier for them to find a bunch of beautiful older women than it was to find
the
like
guys.
all these older
Some
guys,
hot older guys.
to compete for one woman.
Give them like, I don't know, $3,000 in freaking LA rewards for Botox points.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, if you're not doing the Botox coupons, you guys, you're missing out. Unless if,
Really?
if you're into
What? Tell
Botox.
me.
Oh my God. So I have this trick and I get like so much free Botox.
Spill it. Do we need another break real
Yeah,
quick?
let's take
Okay,
a
let's
break.
take a break and switch to Botox.
Okay, we're back.
I'm dying.
Okay, so twice a year, the Botox goes on sale. It's a buy one, get one gift card, okay?
Okay,
so it's
BOGO.
buy one per customer. So, but
What do you mean just Botox in general? There's
like Botox is like a brand name.
okay.
Yeah.
So like if you go on the Botox website, you'll like see that there's like a way you can sign up so you get notified about deals. So twice a year, November and May, they do 2 promos where you can do buy one, get one free, $50 gift cards. So you can actually cash in as many gift cards as you want, but you can only buy one set of gift cards with an account. So I have like a bunch of different accounts.
Oh my God.
And I went to go get it the other day and they were like, oh, let's see if you have any gift cards. They were like, you have 8 gift cards. I was like, fuck yeah, I do.
Wow.
I know. So,
But then you can bring them to your local person who does
every
Botox?
provider takes them.
Really?
Every provider takes them because it's like, it's the discount is on the like, medicine. It's
So you can take it to your person.
Yes, you don't have to like go to some like sketchy one that you've never been inside, and it's like, is this a 7-Eleven or
Right.
you know, no? It's like genius. I'm like, I need to tell George Santos about this. But anyway, what I'm saying is, give them a stipend, a Botox and filler stipend, right?
Right.
And then have them on, and just like instead of staying in the nicer places, like you don't, put them in a slightly shittier hotel when, or something like that.
I'm old enough to remember when going on The Bachelor was like, you were going to get like, you're going around the world, like right away. They're like, Bachelor Mansion is done with after like week 1.
Right.
You're like, we're going to Paris.
Yeah.
Now it's like, we're going to Bakersfield. Yeah. Pack your bags. And it's like, oh, this is a very vintagey looking town. Like,
I was at ABC when The Bachelor was created.
Really?
Yeah. I saw the treatment. I read it. And I was like, this, and I'm not really this big, like, feminist type person, but I was a little offended. I was like, wait, what? They're going to get 25 women and he's going to choose which one based off looks or what on dates. And that's that. Like, I was just like, this never going to fly. I think people are going to hate it immediately. And now look at me. I was totally wrong. But what they did do in the very early days, I don't know if they still do, is they had 25 women. They cast 26 women and they fly them out to LA. And at the very last, like the night before, they have to let one go.
oh, they still do that.
They still do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Can you imagine?
And
You're
they
like,
do a couple
extras. I got picked to be on The Bachelor. I'm going to LA. I'm excited. And then you don't even make it to
You don't even get the limo walkout.
No.
Right?
Well, I think the reason they do that for a couple of reasons is
Yeah.
because some of these people bail.
Yeah.
Like it happens almost every season that somebody like night 1 is like, yeah, I'm not doing it.
Right. And so they were scared that somebody would bail like right before it started or whatever. And they needed the 25 women. And yeah.
I felt the same way as you. But then the second that they did The Bachelorette and Trista was the Bachelorette,
Right.
I was watching the
Then I
shit
was-
out of
I
that.
was-
I
me
was
too.
like,
I
oh,
was
now
watching the
we're
men
fuck
fucking
yeah.
fight with each other. That's the best.
It's the best. Yes.
Yeah,
I'm
I was
all
like,
in.
this
Yeah.
is
That was
fun.
great. I know.
I
Yeah.
was turned on all the time. I was like, "Ooh, look at this guy!" I love the runner-up.
I know.
He was like kind of a scoundrel, but Charlie, I think was his name. And he was like so cute.
Yeah.
and I was like, I wonder what she's gonna do because this guy's kind of a bad boy, and and Ryan is like the nice guy, but she's not gonna pick him because he's boring.
Right.
And then she picked him, and they're still married,
And they're still together.
She actually picked the nice guy.
I know, but she's always like that poor woman. She still has to be out there with like
I
the
know.
roses and doing the Bachelor shit. Like,
Oh, yeah.
don't you think at a certain point you'd be like, I don't want to do this shit anymore?
I know. It's been how many years? It's been like
20 years.
20 years.
20, at least 20 years.
And she's still out there.
yes.
Working, hustling.
They'll probably do like I don't know, a 25-year anniversary thing for their marriage, and they'll have like a party, and then they'll make it have like fake drama, right?
Right.
Because like there's always like there's going to be fake drama with Gary's wedding,
Yeah.
right? Like they're going
Right.
to have to create. They'll make it a series,
Of
like a
course.
special, right?
Right.
And so what will happen? Like it'll have to be like, oh, I keep thinking maybe I'm making the wrong choice, and it'll turn out like the choice is about the flowers or some shit,
Right,
It won't be
right.
like, oh, he's
Right.
not,
I had a little beef with his granddaughter.
Bring
I don't know what it was, but every time they panned to her, so it was his daughters, the 2 daughters, and then the 2 granddaughters in the audience, and the all 3 were fine. The one granddaughter at the end, in the end, she had a puss on the whole time, and to the point where when they talked a little bit, just a little, got spicy between the Bachelor and his girl Teresa. They would like pan, my family's here. The girl was like, Like, just she had the look on her face like she just ate shit. And it's like, bitch, you're on fucking national TV. Liven it up. Like, come on.
He probably owes her money.
He's what? He what?
He probably owes her money.
Yeah, probably. Exactly.
She's probably like, I gave him all my babysitting
I know,
money.
right? I don't know. I just noticed like you had a fucking puss on the whole time. Come on.
Well, it is kind of weird because they really do have to vet the whole families because, like, you know, you get to those hometowns and some of them are like, remember when Dean, who's kind of a weird guy, Dean, who's married now, just got married to Caitlin.
Caitlin Bristow? No.
Caitlin, it was a Colton season or I forgot.
Oh, okay.
Dean, who, anyway, this was like many seasons ago. His dad was like a real weirdo and he was all scared because he was going to have to take her home to see his
that's
family.
The other thing. Yeah.
And it was just like the dad was like such a weirdo and kind of mean and seemed like he was like in a cult. He was like doing some weird like chanting and wearing like anyway, the whole thing was really weird and uncomfortable. And I think everybody was like, you got to check out these families first. You can't like put this on TV.
Right. Like if you're going to make me stay in this guy's house, right? Yeah. Unless he's in the TikTok cult.
Oh my God. We really wanted Meredith to talk about this TikTok cult that we heard about, this dance house, and she doesn't know anything about it.
Yeah, I don't know really anything about it either. Well, I'm going to spend next week researching it until we come back.
Yeah. Any like TikTok, any influencer gossip that we need to know about?
Oh, we were going to talk about Matt Rife.
Oh, Matt Rife.
Ooh, yeah. Let's talk about Matt Rife. Rife?
Whatever his name is.
Rife. Yeah.
Well, because he really blew up on TikTok.
Yes.
I think he's had buccal fat removal.
Really?
Yeah. Right?
What kind of removal?
Buccal fat. You know what I mean, right?
Around the waist?
No. They take out the middle of your, they take out this.
Oh, really? In the face?
So you're like that. Like they take out like your cheeks.
Ooh.
It's like cheek fillers out. Buccal fat removal in.
Oh.
It makes you look like kind of sunken.
Oh.
I know. I don't know. Maybe not.
All
Allegedly.
I know is that he's supposed to be hot, and then I went and looked him up, and he's not. To me, not.
I don't think he's that hot.
So then it's weird when a lot of his stand-up involves him saying, oh, I know all the guys are like, who's this guy? He's too pretty to be funny. And it's like, no, you're not.
Right.
Like, you're normal. I don't know. I don't think.
So he grew up on TikTok?
I think he kind of blew up on TikTok because he's in, like, his big thing is crowd work. And crowd work is like so popular on TikTok because I think that people like it because it's like of the moment, right? Like TikTok, like you don't want to feel like things are so rehearsed on TikTok. So crowd work feels like, oh, it's so random, right?
Yeah.
Even though the clip is very produced. So anyway.
It's also great for comedians too, because then they don't have to show their material to the world. It's just crowd work, so they don't have to burn those jokes and stuff.
Oh, that's so smart, right? Because it's just like, oh, what do you do for a living? And then it's like, oh, okay, I can riff on that for 3 minutes, right?
Right.
So anyway, now he's gets the Netflix special. And it's really just, I mean, here's the thing. I'm like a free speech girl. And I really, like, if you want to make a domestic violence joke, I guess go the fuck ahead, right? Like, you wanted to say it, fine. But here's the thing. Like, it's so dated.
Yeah.
And he's not even that funny. That's the thing. Like, he's not even that funny. So you can't even go, oh, okay, well, he's kind of finding his voice, whatever. But like, I don't want to censor people.
Yeah.
I really don't believe in that.
So what exactly did he say?
The joke was something to the effect of that he was at a restaurant and also he was using a lot of, he kind of likes to talk black in like, the vernacular that's not really his. So he's like, yeah, I'm at this place and it's like ratchet or whatever. And, you know, he's kind of making and then there was the woman who was the front of the house comes out and the hostess or whatever has a black eye. And then somebody was like, yeah, I wonder why they should keep her in the back cooking. And he was like, well, if she could cook, she wouldn't have a black eye.
Got it. Yeah.
Which is just like,
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Right. It's like a joke from like, I don't know, 1976.
Right. Totally.
Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So basically the thing is that people found that joke to be like offensive or whatever, but nobody was canceling him. It was just, they were just like, the joke's not funny.
Right.
So then people started to realize, oh, the whole special's not funny. and kind of offensive. And apparently there's like a very homophobic rant in there and like whatever. It's just, it wasn't good.
Right.
So then his whole thing is like, oh, people are trying to cancel me and free speech. And the cancel culture, like the anti-cancel culture people are like, no, we don't want you either. Like, you're just not funny. So now it's just kind of a bad. So now he's really like, he went on Jordan Peterson's podcast. And so now he's really trying to
double down
on it. Yeah. But like a lot of people are like, dude, you're not like, you're not funny.
Right.
Like you weren't out there. You know, comedians are not having respect for him because they're like, you blew up on TikTok because you had these quick moments, but like you haven't really built an act.
Right.
Like your actual stand-up isn't funny.
And then didn't he do something where he supposedly apologized but didn't apologize?
So he said he made an apology for the joke, and he said like, here's a link to my apology.
Right.
And then it was a place that sells helmets to people with special needs, children. So like he basically made a making fun of special needs kids joke, which caused further backlash.
Right.
And then he was like, well, fuck all y'all. You're just trying to cancel me. And it's like, you're not canceled.
Yeah,
you have a Netflix special that's done really well.
Netflix is
and you
dumb.
make $16 million. You're not canceled. You already got the money. Like there's no deals. Nobody pulled their deal from you. Netflix didn't take your special off the air. It's just like that kind of thing makes me so crazy.
Yeah.
Well, cancel culture is like now a rallying cry.
Yeah.
Because I'll make a video about somebody and be like, oh, you know, isn't it weird that Meryl Streep stood up to applaud Roman Polanski when he got an award because he couldn't come back in the country? And she's like, congratulations. Like, you're like, that was kind of weird. And people are like, don't you dare cancel Meryl Streep. I'm like, what the fuck? You think Meryl Streep is like not going to get a gig because Meredith Lynch made a fucking TikTok that called this out?
Questioning it.
Right. And so I think that people get almost like it's a rallying cry now of like, don't cancel me.
Yeah.
Like no one, and honestly, like I don't really believe that people get canceled. Like, look at that Colleen Ballinger girl. She's back now. She threw out the ukulele and she's back and she's, you know, whatever. Like, yeah, Harvey Weinstein is canceled because he's in prison.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And Bill Cosby was only canceled when because he went to prison.
Right.
He was out there touring.
Yeah.
And people were showing up in droves to go see Bill Cosby do his set, even though like 50,000 women had accused him of rape.
Yeah.
He was not canceled.
Yeah.
Right. So there really, I think, for the most part, is no such thing, but it's a rallying cry.
Yeah.
And now he's going to go where the money is. He's going to be like a Joe Rogan type, or
he's going to try. But I don't think Joe Rogan wants him.
Oh, I don't think Joe Rogan wants him either. But he knows, and Netflix knows where the money is. I think the special was designed for middle school boys.
Yeah, I think so too. But even like I asked Sonny, I said, do you and your friends like this guy? And they think he's a joke.
Yeah, because Sonny's too old. Sonny's too mature.
I guess he's too old.
And also, like Sonny, like your kids are kind of different because they grew up with comedians.
Right.
Like they know good comedy. So like they're, let's be honest, they're a little top tier, right?
That's true.
But I do think it's like, let's get the boys who are like 11 years old. They're like, yeah, this is funny, a domestic violence joke. And maybe my mom won't hear it.
Yeah.
And like, you know, that's
Beavis and Butthead.
Right. That's what I think it is.
But I don't even think the joke was strong enough to be like an edgy domestic violence joke. It's just kind of stupid.
No,
it's like,
you're right.
She can't cook.
It sounded
that's why
like
she has a black eye.
It sounded like a joke from what's his name? What's his
Take
name?
my wife.
Andrew Dice Clay.
Yeah.
It sounds like some Dice would have
It's
said.
like weak Andrew Dice Clay.
Right.
Like Andrew Dice Clay's starter kit. Like you watched him and you're like, oh, that what you want to do is you want to say, make it so somebody has a black eye. And then, yeah.
Like, listen, I got a type 5 on Rachel Zoe that killed the other night. So let me tell you, there's no domestic violence joke, but someone does get hurt. Me, legally.
Wow.
So what's up with you? What are you doing? Are you doing your videos? Do you have any big topics? Because last time you were here, you were in trouble for talking about Bethany.
Yeah, I haven't been in a lot of trouble lately. Thank
God.
God.
Why?
Right? I know. Wait, I'll tell you like some good tea.
Okay.
So I was doing all this stuff about, do you know Soul Cycle?
Yeah.
Okay. So the two women who founded Soul Cycle, they sold Soul Cycle, and now they have this thing in New York City. It's called Peoplehood, and it's basically group therapy, right? So like you go and you sit in a circle and you all introduce yourself and you abide by these rules. Does that sound like anything to you?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay. But you have to pay to go. It's like $35 or something. And I think it's very weird. And it's led by Soul Cycle instructors for the most part.
Okay.
Oh, God.
So, anyway, I was like doing a deep dive on it because these people are not like trained, but group therapy is really complex and people have come out and criticized it. Like, you know, professors of therapy and things like that have been like, this is actually what this specific group is doing is dangerous. So I did a bunch of content about it. And then I got a comment that was like, you need to stop talking about this, basically. So I was like, oh, I get that like every day. So
Right.
but whatever. But for whatever reason, I clicked on the username and it was, I'm not going to say who it was, but it was someone who lives in the home of one of those two founders of the company.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, I'm scared.
boy.
Okay. All right. I'm going to just go ahead and leave that over there. All right. That means
Wow.
the conversation is happening at home. I am terrified. These women sold Soul Cycle for like 80 million. I could be destroyed.
They could drown you.
They could drown me. And I was like, oh, no, never mind. Okay, just kidding. Just kidding.
Wow.
Did you take anything down or
No,
did you just
I didn't
not
take anything
continue
down.
to-
Yeah, I didn't take anything down. But like, I mean, I do feel like they're kind of copying 12-step.
Yeah.
And, you know,
But in a
That's
dangerous
interesting.
way.
right.
Yeah.
I know.
Because you're pretending to have leaders.
You know
The
what
thing
you
about
got to do?
12-step
You got to
is-
find a Vanity Fair reporter and have them investigate.
Yeah, you're right. I need to like. There's a couple of. Well, don't worry. There's a couple conversations that are happening.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I do have a couple things that are hopefully happening. Stay
Nice.
tuned. Hopefully
Nice.
soon. But
Now,
yeah.
do you have a podcast yet?
No, I don't have a podcast.
Are you starting one?
Hopefully soon. Hopefully something's coming soon.
Okay.
Hopefully.
Well,
All right.
okay, so give us all your
Yeah, let me
info.
tell you where to
Yeah,
find me.
yeah.
I am Meredith M. Lynch on TikTok and on Instagram and also over on the Patreon where I will tell you who left that comment from the Soul Cycle household. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, I love
Nice.
it. I
Yeah.
love it. So you spill extra tea.
Oh, that's where the good shit is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I got to come.
I'm dropping first and last names over there.
Oh, I love it. I
Meredith.
love it. I love it. Well, this was so super
Yeah,
fun.
Meredith, please come.
Love
anytime.
having you.
Love you guys.
You're the
Thank
best
you.
guest. Please
You're
be
my
like a
favorite.
regular.
Yeah, please.
I would fucking love to be a regular.
I tried to get you back really soon after the last one, but then things kept happening and you got COVID. 'cause
Yes.
That's ridiculous.
I'll be back.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right.
back.
All
Okay.
right. Love
Thanks.
ya.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.